Hey everybody, the Irish Demon here, and welcome to 2026. It's going to be an absolute belter of a year. Well, hopefully for me and hopefully for you, but probably not for this next guy. This guy decided to get himself a little bit of loving, and he got a bit less than what he bargained for, and he ended up ratting on himself to the popo. Now, I'll just preface this by saying I have certain views when it comes to, shall we call it, adult work. And that is that I don't think necessarily that it should be illegal. And this video right here is a prime example of why, because it opens the door for people getting robbed. It opens the door for people getting hurt and all this kind of stuff. There's for and against it, but I would love to hear your thoughts about it down below. Do you think it should be legalized or at least decriminalized like it is here in Ireland? It's a tough one, and I get why people have certain reservations on it for sure. But check this video out and see what you think. He doesn't want to admit at first that the lady with whom he was engaging was a lady of the night, as they say. But eventually we get around to it, and yeah, the cop has some words for him. So let's have a look here. It's funny, but I do kind of feel bad for him at the same time.
What's going on?
I came out here to meet somebody that I met online and ended up getting robbed when I got here. I was just nervous. I didn't know what to do. They asked me to meet them somewhere else, and then I came back here. It was just a mess.
Okay. So what exactly happened?
You can almost tell that like the cop kind of already knows there's something fishy going on here.
I went in, I was supposed to hang out with this girl, and then 2-3 minutes later, her boyfriend comes in and takes I had a pocket knife on me, and he made me give that to him, and I had money on me that they took as well.
So they told you to come here?
I thought I was just hooking up with somebody I met online.
How was that conversation going? Like, what were you... Did you make arrangements? Like...
The cop knows.
You gotta be honest with me here.
Yeah,
The cop knows. The cop knows. Because, right, I mean no disrespect to the gentleman, okay? And yeah, modern world, people, hook up online, whatever. Fine, you do you, boo-boo. But... He doesn't strike me as the type to maybe regularly get offered hookups, if that's not too cruel to say. Do you understand what I'm saying? More of a World of Warcraft kind of hangout type guy, as opposed to a hey, let's bump uglies kind of guy. You know what I mean?
We met on a dating app earlier today.
A dating app.
And they asked me to come out here. I thought I was just going to have fun for tonight.
Thought wrong, bud.
How do you know it was her boyfriend? How do you know it wasn't her boyfriend that came in?
That's just an assumption,
Okay.
I guess. But
Just a male subject came in?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know that they're still here?
I don't. Actually, the girl walked out probably 2 minutes before you got here.
What do you know, name or picture or anything?
I don't know the name.
I don't know her name. She goes by Candy with a K and 2 I's.
All the accounts got deleted. They're trying to cover their tracks, so I don't have any way of contacting them anymore.
What's she look like? What's she wearing?
She was wearing pink lingerie and high heels.
The white girl with her hair was 2 different colors, half red, half black.
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but it is funny.
Short, long? Like, was it down?
Yeah.
How tall is she?
Like 5'5", 5'6".
What about the male?
The male was wearing a floor-length fur coat, a purple velvet hat with a big feather, and he was carrying a jewel-encrusted cane, and he had a bit of a funny walk.
Heavy-set black guy.
All right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, these things don't move.
A heavyset black guy that she called Big Bubba. The cop is about to have to, okay, I'm going to level with you. For sure. I haven't seen all of this. I just flicked through as always because I want to get the kind of live reaction, but he's about to have a, all right, man, let's cut this shit here.
What app were you on? What were you using?
Tinder.
PlentyofAss.com, guaranteed. Buttholesforsale.com.
I use a few. I think it was Tinder.
You think, so you don't know? So what were you doing for the last few hours?
So I left. We matched on the app. I think it was around 9 o'clock, 9:30. I headed out this way after we talked for a little bit. What time is it now? I wasn't paying super close attention at the time. This happened about an hour and a half ago. I was just nervous. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if
Did you leave? Did you come back? Like, where?
I did. She told me that they were going to give me my stuff back if I met them at a different hotel.
Yeah, if you met them at a different hotel and brought loads more cash with you, yeah, it seems legit, bud.
What was the point of them did they threaten you? Like, tell me how it all happened. All you told me is that they took some money and a knife, but like, what was the communication like? What were they doing? Like, you just hand their stuff over and they said you can have it back? Like, I don't understand that. Like, I want to, like, what actually happened in the room?
Sorry, I'm just really nervous and I'm shy and I'm bad at communicating. I apologize.
I do feel
wanna help
bad
you.
for this guy. Like, don't get me wrong, I really do. Because, like, look, let's face it, right? This dude, and again, it's not disrespect, it's just being real here. Whatever about his looks, okay? You know, it is what it is. Some girls are into big, fluffy guys, right? That's fine. Like, I mean, you know, I was a big fat guy and girls liked me. Or at least I think they did. Anyway, but that's neither here nor there. But, like, even his demeanor and stuff, he's a shy, he's not exactly what would you say? He's not exactly the fountain of confidence. And I do feel bad for him, okay? Like, I mean, you know, if you're a bigger dude and you're maybe not the most attractive guy in the world, doesn't mean that you're not attracted to really hot ladies. Do you know what I mean? Of course, like, that's normal. And, you know, if he wanted to pay for that experience, as long as it's consensual and all good, then it's a real tricky one. I think this kind of moral objection that people have to adult work, it's a bit outdated. It's a very dangerous industry. It's one of the oldest industries in the world. It's a very dangerous one, though. And a lot of that is because it's illegal in most places. That's why it can be so dangerous, because it leads to things like this. If there was somewhere where he could go, where somebody, you know, who does that as a job and enjoys it and makes good money from it, like, fair play. Like, if that's what you're into. Some people get punched in the fucking head for money. Boxers, you know what I mean? Like, it's each to their own. But when it's illegal, when it's underground, that's when it leads to trafficking. It leads to this kind of thing, like robbery. He shouldn't, in fairness to him, he should not be afraid to come forward to the police and say, I was engaging a lady of the night from a house of ill repute and I was robbed. Why should you be afraid to do that just because, you know, you were, you know, hiring a bit of ass? Like, I mean, which, you know, like, I know people say that's a very disrespectful way to put it. Well, that's the reality of it, okay? Like, you're not doing it to hang out. You know, it's like, it's normal that people would want to do that kind of thing, especially if maybe they struggle with communication. They might struggle talking to girls and all that kind of stuff. He shouldn't be afraid to come forward and say he was robbed. And that's why it was decriminalized here in Ireland on the side of the workers, not on the side of the clients, but on the side of the workers. It was decriminalized here so that if something bad happened to them, you know, and you can imagine for yourself what those things could be, that they could come forward and report it without the fear of prosecution. I think it should be the same the other way as well. But anyway, that's a bigger debate. It's a bigger question.
But you gotta be upfront with me,
I know.
and I'm gathering that you feel like you might have done something wrong, or you feel like you might have done something wrong, or that you could get in
So
trouble.
bad for the guy, man.
She was a prostitute.
Okay.
I didn't want to get in trouble for that.
Did you actually talk to her on Tinder, or was this on something else?
It was somewhere else.
Okay. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. Tell me everything, because I know you.
Titty gritty.
I've been doing this a long time. All right.
Yeah.
Maybe 240, maybe 241.
I just figured if I
So what site were you on?
list crawler.
Okay.
Oh, I've heard of that. I spoke to a guy live one night who admitted doing awful stuff on that website. And that's a prime example of why it's dangerous. It's anonymous to an extent and just opens the door for abusing that system and taking advantage of people like this guy. And also the flip side, taking advantage of the people working in the industry.
Since I admitted that, what's going to happen to me? So I handed her the money because, she asked for the money first. And then the guy came in and he's like, "Do you have any weapons?" And I said, "Well, I have my pocket knife." And I gave him my knife and he said, "All right, you'll get it back after."
Okay.
And then they said, well, we're not doing this here. We need you to go. My room's actually at a different hotel. They had me drive out to the Days Inn on Springfield Pike. And then I waited there for her for about a half an hour.
Okay.
And then I waited and waited and waited and nothing. I tried calling her back and she blocked my number. So it goes right to a voicemail. I tried texting her back. Really, about the money itself, it's just me being stupid. I made a mistake.
So let me go back. Did they actually threaten you at all?
No.
Okay. So the money that you handed over, you did that voluntarily.
Yes.
So they didn't take any extra money from you.
No.
Possibly a pocket knife. That's about the only thing you handed over.
Yeah.
What was the money for? What did you agree to?
To sleep with her.
Okay. All right. So we can go about this a couple different ways. That is definitely your loss. You're doing something you're not supposed to be doing. You can get arrested right now for that. How much money are you out?
600.
600? 600 bucks. Sorry. What? I need to grow some bigger boobies and I'm in the wrong industry. 600 sheets. I hope she was going to paint your fucking house.
Do you have your ID on you?
You could just tell even the cop was like, 600 bucks. Jesus.
Yeah.
Can I see it?
If we're calling it a loss here, am I free to go?
I need to see your ID. Maybe your knife. You say he asked for your knife. That's actually pretty common. Obviously, they don't want you in there with weapons to hurt their client. The dude that came in was probably he was probably the pimp. At the end of the day, you committed a crime. She committed a crime. You guys are both going to get arrested anyways.
Oh man, I do feel bad for him.
I don't know that I really need to give you any kind of pep talk here about this, but I think you already know. You already knew, which is why you waited to call us.
Yeah.
I just would make better decisions going forward. Do you have any warrants right now?
No, I don't. The only thing I've ever been in trouble for was like 10 years ago. I got in a fight with my dad. It's the only thing on my record.
You're gonna get in trouble too.
Dude. Anyway, so it turns out he didn't get arrested there and then. I found out after he got arrested the next day, right? And just to kind of not to kind of ride the point too much, if you excuse the pun, not to go too hard on it. But look, at the end of the day, you got a guy here who, let's face it, couldn't get his hole in a barrel of pussies, right? But yeah, at the end of the day, it's illegal where he is. You have to respect that, you know? If you know something's illegal, whether you agree with it or not, and there's certain things that are illegal all over the world that I disagree with, but if I go to those places, I'm going to follow their laws so that shit like this doesn't happen. It's the same with cannabis. Like here in Ireland, cannabis is still, for the most part, illegal. To possess, to grow, to use even is technically illegal. And I disagree with that personally. I don't smoke weed, maybe once in a blue moon over the years. And for a while, I was on medicinal cannabis in Australia, which was legal and it was, you know, all through a doctor and stuff. Just didn't agree with me and I didn't really like it. So I gave it up. It just didn't do it for me, made me feel kind of shitty all the time. And I'm a lightweight. I just green out straight away. I have no tolerance whatsoever, but I do think it should be legal. But one of the problems I've seen from talking to people is that in places where it has been completely legalized, that people abuse that and they're using it while they're driving and all this kind of stuff. And I disagree with that. You know, it used to be illegal to drink alcohol in the United States. It's not anymore. And so it's completely normal now. So we're seeing the same with cannabis. It's normalized over there. Prostitution, there's certain parts, I believe, of the States where it is totally legal. There's that place in Nevada. I think it's in Nevada. Or, well, it's near enough to Vegas anywhere where you can go. Like, as I say, here in Ireland, it's decriminalized. So my understanding is it's decriminalized for the workers and not necessarily for the clients, but there's like loopholes that they use or whatever. I don't really know the ins and outs of it, but it's not something that's, you know, very seriously prosecuted here in Ireland. It's the same in the Netherlands. So there are certain areas in the Netherlands where it's completely legal and literally in shop windows, as you know, the red light district famously in the Netherlands. But it's not open season. It's not just completely legal for everybody in every situation. And I can understand regulation on it and controls on it too. But what it all boils down to is when something like this is underground, as I said earlier, it opens the door to abuses. It opens the door to it all being controlled by criminal elements. It allows for trafficking, it allows for abuse, it allows for things like this to happen because people are afraid then to come forward. The ladies, for the most part, working in the industry are afraid in certain circumstances to come forward and say when something bad has happened. And then, of course, the service users, shall we say, are in the same boat. They're afraid to come forward and you know, tell police that, you know, I've just been robbed. So look at the balance of criminality here between this guy and the lovely lady of the night and her supervisor, shall we say. What did this guy really do? This is clearly some lonely nerd who can't get ass and decided to, you know, treat himself, find a professional individual who maybe fit his personal, shall we say, I don't know, how could you put it? Sorry, I've got a really bad flu right now. I'm holding it together really, really well though. I haven't coughed really hard in a long time, but you know, he finds a lady that he likes, pays an absolutely astronomical amount of money, and gets robbed. He's afraid. They take his knife, no big deal. They take his money, they screw him over, and not screw him. And then he is in a situation where he's like, I feel like I should be able to tell the police about this. And clearly he was afraid to. The best thing to do would have been chalk it down to experience and walk away. I think calling the cops was a stupid thing to do, but it shouldn't be. You know, he was robbed. He, maybe not violently, but he was robbed. And you might argue that, well, if he didn't put himself in that situation, I agree, of course, if he didn't. But if it was something that, you know, was a legal thing that you could do, you wouldn't necessarily have that worry. I can't remember. I watched a documentary about this fairly recently about how it works in like Thailand and places like that. But there was what country was it? Anyway, there's a country where they have it's like Amazon for ass, basically. You actually pay through the app or whatever. So there's no fear then of getting robbed and all this kind of stuff. And I mean, that's a bit kind of clinical, I guess, but I suppose it's because of the history of these kind of things happening, you know. There's some famous lady rapper, I can't remember her name, maybe somebody can tell me down below, the one that talks about her WAP, I think it's that one, who used to routinely go and drug guys and steal their money. And of course, those people can't come forward because it's illegal. So it's a tough one. It's a double-edged sword for sure. But I think on the balance of everything, legalization or decriminalization is probably for the best. But let me know what you think down below. I'm definitely open to conversation about it because I think it's a very interesting subject, and it seems to be working in places where they have done that. Like here in Ireland, there was a huge uptick of people being willing to come forward and say that these things had happened to them, the ladies and stuff, because before that they were afraid to. And it wasn't like our police or whatever would go, oh no, you're only a fucking whatever, get out, you know. It wasn't like that at all. But it was now they're absolutely not afraid to come forward, and rightly so. But anyway, let me know what you think down below. I've got to go lie down in my electric blanket for a little while. I've got my gas heater here next to me, red hot. I've got the heating on. I've got a heated blanket under my butt, trying to keep myself warm, and I still feel really, really cold, even though it's extremely hot in this room right now. So I've got to go lie down, take some cold and flu meds, and go to sleep for a little while. And I will catch you all for the next video. Slán